Hey there, in this video we're going to be talking about the 6 times table. I noticed that whenever I'm going over times tables with students, that they do pretty well usually with the earlier ones, like the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. It's when they get into the 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s when it starts to get a little fuzzy on them. And that's understandable. It's very common because they are a little complicated, and that's okay. But we're going to work on little tricks to help us with the 6s. I've already made a video on the 7s. And I've already made a video on the 9s. We did that a while ago. Today we're going to be talking about the 6s. Eventually, I'm going to get into the 8s. But for today, we're going to talk about the 6s. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 5 facts of the 6 times table that you should already know because you need to know these times tables before you get into the 6s. If you're into the 6s now, then you should have already done these. Okay? And here they are. Okay? You start, of course, with 6 times 0 equals 0. Any number times 0 is 0. Remember, 0 is the most powerful number in math. It could take any number, no matter how large it is. If you multiply that number by 0, the answer is always going to be 0. The product is always 0. It never fails. The rule of 1, 6 times 1 equals 6. Why? Because any number times 1 is that number, right? It's also called the identity property. The number keeps its identity because all you're doing is multiplying it by 1. Plus, a way to remember, a 1 looks like the letter I. I stands for identity, right? 6 times 1 is 6, okay? 6 times 2 is 12. You should already know your 2s, right? All you're doing is doubling 6. But another thing you could notice is that there's a 2 here, there's a 2 there. Yep, the 2 is the same as the 1's digit in 12, right? And 12 is half of 12 is 6. So 6 doubled is 12. Half of 12 is 6, okay? The 5s you should know automatically, like you're counting minutes on the clock, 5, 10, 15, right? When you get to the 6th number, it's going to be a 30, right? 6 times 5 is 30. And of course, you know your 10s, 10, 20, 30. When you get to the 6th number, you'll notice it's a 60. But what's the easy way to remember that? Once again, the power of 0. Just like if you multiply a number by 0, it's 0. If you add a 0 to a number, you've multiplied it by 10. 6 with a 0 after it is 60. 6 times 10 is 60. Just like 2 times 10 is 20. 4 times 4 is 4. 4 times 10 is 40. Right? Doesn't matter. Okay? That pattern never changes. And of course, the 0 stays the same as well in the 1's digit column. Okay? So once again, 6 times 0 equals 0. 6 times 1 equals 6. 6 times 2 equals 12. 6 times 5 equals 30. 6 times 10 equals 60. You should have these down. What I'm going to do, just in case, I'm going to pause this video. And you should pause it too. Write these down, put them on the side, and make sure you get these memorized before you move on to the next part of this video. Okay? Okay, I'm back. Hopefully by now you wrote those other facts down and you got them memorized. Now we're going to go to the ones that were not on that list. We did 6 times 0, 6 times 1, 6 times 2. We did not do 6 times 3. That wasn't on there. So we're going to do it here. And the answer to that, the product is 18. Now, what's a good way to memorize this? Well, the only thing that I can think of is 2 things. See this times? Now, don't get your signs mixed up. Just do this as like a little trick. If you change that times to a plus and you made it 6 plus 3, what is 6 plus 3? Well, 6 plus 3 is 9, right? If you double 9 or multiply it by 2 or add it twice, you could even do it this way. It's going to be the same answer. What's the answer? Still going to be 18, right? You could do it that way, or you could say, well, 6 plus 3 equals 9. What other 2 digits can I use today that add up to 9? 1 and 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. Now, what if you don't know what the 10th digit is? Well, you kind of do because you know that 6 times 2 is 12. You're still going to be in the teens because 6 isn't big enough to take you into the 20s all the way from 12. So that first digit you know is still going to be a 1. So the 8 is going to be what you get because 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay? Just a couple of other tricks you could use. Like I said, you could always pause this and write the notes down. Okay? But I'm going to move on now to the next one. We didn't do the 4 either. Say this one in your head. 6 times 4 is 24, right? 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24. Yes, it rhymes. It's like a rhythmic song, right? 6 times 4 is 24. There's the 4. There's the 4 again in the ones column, right? 6 times 4 is 24. That's as simple as you can get it, okay? Just like 6 times 2, you had a 2 with a 12. 6 times 4, the next even number, you got 4 and 4, okay? All right. We did 6 times 5, of course, was 30. Say this one in your head. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. Yep, there it is again. The same pattern, the same rhyme. 6, 36, like singing a song. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 6 is 36. Anytime I get to an even number, and by the way, all the answers of the 6 times table are even. Why? Because 6 is an even number. Anytime you've got an even numbered multiplication table, the answers are always going to be even. The ones digit will always be even. What makes the 6 times table special is that you'll notice the pattern that's going on with the other even factors besides 6. Okay? 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Right? That's not a coincidence. That's just the way it is. Okay? Don't forget that. Okay? Now we're going to go to the next one, and I will admit this one is probably the toughest one of all the ones that we're going to be doing today. I'm going to write it down. 6 times 7 equals 42. The only way I could think to remember this one, if there were any tricks involved at all, you see 6 and 7, right? What comes after 6 and 7 when you count? 8, right? What two numbers multiply to give you 8? Well, first of all, you just left 36. 6 is too big to keep you in the 30s, so you know you're going to be in the 40s. You know that first digit's going to be a 4. What do you multiply by 4 to get 8? 2, right? 4 times 8 is 2. Or 4 times 2 is 8, sorry. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? That's one you might just have to memorize without any real tricks. I mean, if you want to use that one, you might find it helpful, but I recommend you're better off probably just memorizing it as a fact. You know, like you know your name. Okay? Just one of those things. Okay? Next one. We didn't do the 8th one. Please say this one in your head. You got it. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is 48. There it is again. Even digit or even factor. One's digit's also the exact same digit. Right? You'll see the pattern I'm talking about? There it goes again. 2, 12. 4, 24. 6, 36. 8, 48. There it is. Another thing I want you to understand is, I'll get back to that later. There was something I wanted to add to that, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Let's move on now to the next one while we're here. Okay, now you got 6 times 9. If you remember, I made a video a while ago about the 9s. And I said that when you have we have 2 factors that are single digits and one of them is 9. If the other one's not 9, you go to, well, it doesn't matter even if it is, but usually it's not going to be 9. You take the factor that's not 9. You go 1 less. So what's 1 less than 6? 5, right? Now, that's the tens digit. Remember what I said. Every double digit multiple of 9, both digits add up to 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. So what do you add to 5 to get 9? 4, right? 5 plus 4 is 9. There it is. Okay? 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay? That's something else. And you could always go back to the 9s video to remember that as well. Or to memorize that as well. Okay? So, once again, 6 times 9 is 54. You got the 5 because you dropped down from the 6. 5 plus what is 9? 4. Okay? We already did 6 times 10 is what again? 60. Right? So those you should already know. Remember, whenever you multiply 6 times an even factor, 2, 4, 6, or 8. The ones digit's going to match. There's other things I also threw in there with the other ones. And you should already know the 0, the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 10. You should. Okay? So that being said, I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to pause the camera for a minute, write some problems for you. When I get back on there, I'm going to have you copy them, practice them after you study your notes, of course. Study your notes first. And then go back after you solve them and see if you got them right. Okay? Hang on. Okay, I'm back, and here are the problems I'd like you to work on. Copy these. Try to solve them without the use of your notes and without the use of the earlier part of this video. You could always go back and check it later. Study your notes first before you do these. Or you could do them first. See how many you got wrong? Go back, study your notes again, and try them again. It's up to you. Okay? But this is the set of problems you can work on. Okay? So I hope you found... Here you go. I'm going to hold on for a little bit longer. Okay? So I hope you found this video helpful with the 6s. Like I said, we're going to get to the 8s later. You can always go back to the 7s and 9s if you need help with those as well. And I'll see you later. Take care.